Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Running for Founders Club Thursday night Zooms. I'm so excited about tonight. I welcome all of you, and I want you to drop your Founders Club points in the chat and drop how many unique accounts that you have in the chat. And y'all, we got 2 weeks left for the first end of the first quarter. So you make sure you've got 2 unique accounts and 25 points before the end of this quarter so that you qualify for Quarterly Founders Club. That means you get $100 toward your trip to California. And it means that you get special recognition at the event. And it means you get in the rotation for people that order through corporate. They get assigned to us who qualify for Quarterly Founders Club to be their coach. We get the points, we get the money, we get all that. And if they decide they want to be a partner, we get them as a partner too. So it's a really a sweet deal to qualify quarterly. So put that on your goals board for sure, that you want to do that. And let's see. I don't think Christy or Stacy are on here yet, so I'm just going to run with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to get started and introduce our special guest trainer tonight. I absolutely adore her. We bonded over sushi. We went to a Founders Club trip 2 years ago. I don't remember where. I guess we're in Mexico. Is that where we're at, Jamie?
We were at, actually, I think it was my very first one, and I think it was Punta Cana,
Dominican Republic. And our husbands decided that we should try sushi since it's free. Everything's free. Her and I do not like sushi, but we said, you know what? It's been a long time since we tried it. Maybe our taste buds have changed. And so we were sitting there, and at the same time, we cheered our sushi, put it in our mouth. We did not change our minds. We both hate sushi, but that bonded us that night. I think we swallow it? I think we both ended up swallowing.
It was not good. It was not good.
But anyways, so Jamie has a special place in my heart. We bonded over our dislike of sushi. But we have been able to travel together since, and she is just a fabulous trainer. She does the things. She doesn't miss these trips. And I'm excited to spend some time with her again in 3 weeks when we get to Cancun. But you guys, get your pen and paper out because she's going to give you some good nuggets. You guys welcome Jamie Cole.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Because my signal here sometimes gets spotty. All right. Like she said, my name is Jamie Cole. I was introduced to this company a little over 4 years ago. And this will be my 4th Founders Club trip. So I'm just here to tell you from day one, whether today is your first day like Barbara on this Zoom, or if you've been here for a long time, it is definitely doable. If a girl surrounded by soybeans and cornfields with 200 Facebook friends can find a way to do it, you can too, I promise. So she kind of gave me free reign and said, just kind of train over the things that I do. And I kind of had a little bit of stuff that was kind of heavy on my heart the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to share that with you guys as well, because I have a feeling I'm not alone in this boat. So first, we're going to start off with the easy stuff. Sorry, there's my dogs. We're going to start off with some of the easy stuff. I know you guys have heard the daily activities, but you guys, consistency. I can't tell you how much consistency is the biggest key. There is no right way to build this business. There really isn't a wrong way to build this business unless you're not being consistent. That's going to make all the difference. I mean, the company is throwing all kinds of amazing things at us. We've had lots of great extra bonuses, lots of amazing deals, lots of new products. And from the way I hear it, it's just the tip of the iceberg of all the awesome things that we're going to have coming toward us. But if we're not consistent, you're going to miss the boat. And so some of the daily activities that I do is one of the very first things you have to show up on social media if you're building your business through social media. And I don't mean singular all the time. What I mean is you have to let them know that you're still there. You're still active. You're still, your group decides to follow you. Sorry, I'm trying to move my face so I can see. But people follow you because of who you are. And so you got to show up, whether you're talking about Singular, you're talking about your life, you're talking about your dogs. It is very, very important to post and let them know that you're still engaged, because that's what it's really about. It's about being engaged. And so, you've heard of people talk about their 5 pillars, the 5 things that you describe yourself as. If you don't have them, and sometimes they change. I've tweaked mine as I'm going through here, but pick 5 things that represent who you are. You're a mom. You're a Mimi. You're, a wife. You love country western. You love your dogs. You're a sports mom. You're a boys mom. Whatever it may be in your life, and singular. Whatever it is that you're interested in. If you are somebody that's great with cooking, utilize that. People love that. If you do home decor, or you have a little talent like that, of any sort. If you're funny, I wish I was funny, but if you're funny, share that. People love that. The only thing they laugh about me is I tell them my cold chaos. There's always something chaotic going on. I mean, my biggest view and followers and my biggest time in my business was actually when my the sweeper that goes on its own, I can't even think of what it's called. It took off and was sweeping, and I didn't realize that my dog had an accident on the floor. And I literally went in the laundry room, and it looked like somebody had taken soft serve chocolate ice cream and just smeared it all over the floor. It was horrendous. I have an old English bulldog, and she is 75 pounds, and it swears she's part cow. That's exactly what it looked like. So I'm sharing my story just like I'm sharing it with you guys. And I literally said, you guys are not going to believe what I did. So I'm like, I got to get this cleaned up. So I go in there and I grab all these towels and the mop bucket, and I'm anchored down on the floor, and I'm getting ready to clean this up. And I pick up the sweeper and I set it behind me, and I clean it all up. And I'm in there for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, okay, you can do this today. You can do this. And I get up and I turn around and I realize, guess who forgot to shut off the sweeper when she picked it up and turned it around? Yeah, that girl would be me. You're captivated with this story. You guys are laughing with me. You are thinking, oh my gosh, that has to be a nightmare. I literally looked like candy cane stripes of crap all the way across my whole other living room wooden floor, right? But I shared this on Facebook because guess what? People want to hear that you're just like them, that stuff happens, that, chaos in your life is not any different than theirs, that you're a real person. So your hair doesn't have to be pretty. Your house doesn't have to be clean. You just have to be authentic. And I will tell you that story, as much as it was a pain to clean that mess up, really boosted my algorithm. So if you got one of those horror stories, I recommend you sharing it. As a matter of fact, I may just reshare it because people will like it. But what I'm saying is be you. Be you and be consistent. Show up. And then you sprinkle in the singular. You show yourself taking the products or drinking them or making them. I was watching Char's lives the other day, and she's talking about her mail route and how crazy things is. And as she's doing it, she's making her gut glow. People notice what helps her get through the day, what helps her get through this chaos. So use those things. Use your pillars, use your real life, and be authentic. But most of all, be consistent. You're going to want to be consistent on all of your daily activities. That's not just the only one. Posting's not going to get you everything that you want. People will be watching, but guess what? If you don't ask, if you don't entertain, if you don't get in their inbox, and you don't create that relationship and start talking to them, it's going to be nothing but following you for fun. I know that you guys have probably done that before. You've seen something on TikTok or you did whatever, and you're like, oh, I'd really like to do that. Matter of fact, I did it today. Oh, I love that sweeper. Really like to have that sweeper. It looks like it does a great job. I'll come back to it. If that person would have reached out to me in the next week and said, hey, I noticed you liking my sweeper thing, and mentioned it to me, I guarantee you they'd have a purchase sale. Because they made that connection, they made that effort. So be paying attention to your likes, your loves, your followers, and engage with them. They're not going to come to you because the timing might not be exactly convenient, or because they're embarrassed. Weight loss and health problems is not something everybody wants to advertise. So you need to go to them. And when I do my Facebook, one of the things that I recommend doing is warming up your Facebook before you get started. And what I mean by that is you need to go through and you need to be commenting on 10, 15 posts before you ever make your own first post. Comment, like, love. The other thing, don't forget, 4 or 5 words boost your algorithm. These hearts and this one little emoji or love it, that doesn't do the same thing as if you put 4 or 5 words, because that's what separates you from the Autobot posts. That's what boosts your algorithm. So keep that in mind when you want to say you're going through quickly and you're trying to be efficient. You want to do your posts in 5 minutes and you put cute, 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 or love that. It doesn't do you as much good as if you take the time to put, oh my gosh, she's so cute, I love her outfit. That is going to skyrocket your algorithm. So when you're trying to leverage your time, make sure that you're doing it efficiently. It's great if you say, I did 35 follow-ups today and I really rocked it. But if you didn't say anything of any value and you didn't make any connection, or I posted 5 times today, or I commented on 50, I had 50 touches today, but they're not of any value or relevance, and they look like everybody else's posts on there. Not only is the person not going to notice, but it's not going to help your Facebook algorithm either. So I would rather see myself do 20 efficient touches than 50 inefficient touches. Our time's very valuable. So make sure as you're doing your daily activities that you make sure you feel like it's most relevant and that you're getting the most out of it. Does that make sense? So always warm up your Facebook and do the same thing with your stories before you post your stories as well. And I like to scroll past the first ones because they're the first few stories that I'm commenting on, they're always going to be the people that I interact with the most. And a lot of times they're singular people or already customers. Your goal is not to ignore them, but they're lower on your totem pole. Those are your extras, you know what I mean? Because you're already following up with them in a different manner and you already have that friendship. Your goal through stories is to get in somebody else's news inbox and create a new path to go with on that. So go scroll through, just kind of take your finger and just swipe and let it go across till it's somebody new. Because you will then, if you're talking to them, it will cause them to see more and more of your posts as well as you see in there. So it's going to change up your scenery. If you're getting on Facebook and you're seeing the same people every single day, it's because you are not extending your network, which means you need to be commenting on people that you haven't seen for a while. Does that make sense? I hope so, because I'm trying to watch y'all if you nod your head. So but that's one of the biggest things. The other thing is your follow-ups, guys. It is crucial. I know you hear it 100 times, portions in the follow-up, but you have to have a system. If you don't have a system on how you're following up, people are going to fall through the cracks. And that could be your next Melissa Adams that falls through the cracks because you didn't follow up with them. So I personally am a Teamsy girl. It is an investment. It's $20 a month, I think. Something like that. I don't use all the things that are there. Okay. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am solely there for my follow-ups. It keeps me accountable every single day. I love Teamsy because it's on my phone. Because it's on my phone, it eliminates excuses of, well, I got to get home to my computer or I got to get home to my notebook. I didn't bring it with me. By it being on my phone, if I'm sitting in the car line waiting on my son to get out of practice for 5 minutes, I can shoot off 4 or 5 follow-ups while I'm sitting there. So it does for me. That is something. If you're a notebook girl, if you use the note cards, if you use a calendar, whatever it is, that's great. I would recommend though, if you're going to have free time throughout the day, you take whatever it is that you use and you take it with you. We talk about the success for Founders Club and building our businesses, and it's keeping things right fresh in front of your face so that life doesn't allow you to get as sidetracked. So having those things with you is going to be a huge, huge help. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you're getting people on the phone, those type of things, getting 3-way calls, introducing them to new people. It's underutilized. I know we're doing much, much better with it, but I kind of do this. I'll do really, really good and then I'll let it slide. And then I'll do really, really good and I will let it slide. So for me, that's something that I am drawing a line in the sand that I am going to improve on. Kind of think about the things that you want to improve on because it's going to be relevant toward the end of this. So as you're going through here and we're talking, if something jumps out at you. And the other thing is filling your funnel. A lot of people say, oh, just talk to more people. I don't know about you, but that is true. Talk to more people. But sometimes I'm like, how am I going to talk to more people? I run in the same circle. I'm not out and about. So I'm talking to them on Facebook, but what else can I do? And it was actually just a challenge that was just issued. And I'll pass this along as a suggestive idea for you guys. But it's the alphabet challenge. I guarantee you haven't been through your phone and hit up every single person. So tomorrow you can make tomorrow A. Go through everybody in your A contact list and you just reach out and talk to them. I'm not talking about singular. I'm talking about, hey, how have you been? You know, are you still working at, maybe you have somebody from an old job. Are you still working there? Love to catch up. Saw your number in my phone and thought, oh my gosh, I haven't seen them forever. And I wanted to see how you were doing. You know, and then the next day is your B's. Start building those relationships to fill those funnels. I know you've got their contacts there, but are they really your funnel if you're to never look at it? But as you start talking to them, you're going to build that up. So that's an option. You know, the 10 pennies that they've talked about, people have given lots of different ideas on ways to fill your funnel. But the key to it is you got to do it every day, even if it's just filling it by one person, because that's what keeps your confidence up as you're talking to new people. So those are a lot of the daily activities. I know you've heard of them before, and I'm not giving you any great nugget of anything that you haven't heard, but I'm hoping that it hits home with you. And I'm kind of going to get into a little bit of something that has been on my heart, and it may or may not pertain to you. And I hope that you guys take it well, and I hope that it does help somebody. But all of us are here because we made a decision. We made a decision that we are, you know, going for Founders Club, that we are committed to it. And I want you to think for just a second. I want you to really think. Were you lying to yourself or are you committed? And if you're committed, do your actions match? And I say that because I did a lot of self-evaluation, and I've fell in that to where my actions are not matching what my goals are. You know, my actions are not where they should be. And as I'm saying these things, I'm not saying them to call anybody to the table. I'm just saying them because this is what I'm going through. And I have a feeling that I'm not alone. And I want you to know, if you're going through these things, you're not alone either. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean you can't do this. It just means that we've slid off track and it's time to reassess and realign so that the success we deserve, and we do, each and every person on this call deserves the success, but to realign it so that you can achieve it. Because if we don't pull ourselves back over, if we don't do some self-evaluation and we don't change some of the habits that we're developing, this is a rough time of year for so many people. I mean, this has been a rough year for a lot of people. And so I just want you to think about that. Are your actions matching it? You know, for me, something I realized is I've really been evaluating my business because I got all these new partners and I get some of them to quick start. And last year I got these partners, I earned these trips. Why do I feel like I keep having to start again? You know, why, what am I doing? And I started I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this wrong. And the self-doubt. And I don't know if it ever creeps in on you, but where you're your own worst enemy. But you guys, we tell everybody every day to encourage them and to help them through their health journeys. It is time to be our own best friend. Stop being our own worst enemy. Pick ourselves up, cheer ourselves on, believe in ourselves. You know, it's important. Our mindset and how we feel about ourselves is directly affects our business. You can put on the smile, you can be happy and go lucky and all the time. But if you're getting weighed down with that to where you're putting all that self-doubt in your own head, then we're self-sabotaging. You know, we're going through the motions and we're spending this time that we don't have because we want time, but we're not doing the right activities and we're not in the right mindset to actually accept those gifts that are right there in front of us. You know, how many of you, I mean, the company did amazing. I mean, they're offering all of these awesome things. Last month, they couldn't have offered anything better, anything more. I mean, they gave us everything on a silver platter. I didn't hit my 5 times. And you know what I did? Is I started beating myself up. I started saying, well, you didn't do a good enough job. You didn't talk to enough people. You weren't happy enough. You weren't engaged enough. Maybe you're just not worth it. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe you don't have the value that you think that you should have. And I started that downward spiral. And you know what? It's not true. Ain't none of it true. You know, I have Melissa Adam to thank because she said, borrow my belief till you can believe in yourself. And that was one of the biggest moments in my life to where I could do that. And here I was throwing that gift right out the window, starting to beat up on myself again. And I had to pull that quote back out, and I had to remind myself that I absolutely am doing the right things. I may not be perfect. None of us are. But it doesn't mean that it's time to quit. It doesn't mean it's a failure. And it's not something that's going to linger on in December for me. Okay. Whether I hit my 5 times or not, whether I hit my 1,200 points, whatever it is that your goal is, whether you fall short on it or not, sometimes it just is. Sometimes it just is. But here's the thing. You stay consistent. You do the daily activities. You do the things. And it will pay off. You just can't get caught when you get in one of those slumps. You can't get caught and beating yourself up and stay there. We've got to realign ourselves. And so for me, that was something that I was really battling with. You know, I felt like I was enabling my people, my teammates, my partners. I wanted them to succeed so badly. I wanted to help them every step of the way. I wanted to give them posts. I wanted to give them verbiage. I wanted them to feel like, you know, they could do it. She's got everything to guide me, because you hear everybody say, you know, make sure it's duplicatable and, you know, help them out. And I think I took it to an extreme, and I don't know if other people did this or not, but I couldn't figure out why I could get somebody to quick start and maybe even get them to manager. And then all of a sudden the next month, they just really didn't want to do much. And then the next month after that, they just barely ordered. And then the next month after that, they didn't even bother to. What am I doing wrong? And it was because I was trying too hard. I was enabling them. You know, I really sat down and did some hard thinking for myself. And it's kind of like raising a family. If any of you guys have kids, you keep doing and you do for them. You tie their shoes and you do their laundry and you fix their plates, and you do that when they're little bitty. But then we become where you might keep doing it, or you've seen parents keep doing that, and then their kids, they never learn to do it on their own. And then when they get out in the real world, they're like shock value because, well, mom's not there doing it for me. And I realized I may not be doing that with my kids, but I sure am in my business. That's exactly what I was doing. I would tell them, but if they didn't do it, I would still kind of just give them that little extra help. So they never learned to do it on their own. They never learned to fail and pick themselves up. They never learned work ethic because I didn't make them. I didn't encourage them. And I thought to myself that this business is very much like raising a family in a sense. I'm raising these babies singular, and I want them to grow up, and I want them to do the same things that I've done and I've accomplished. I want them to feel these things that I've gotten to experience, that if I hadn't, you know, found this company, that I would have never got to experience. And I wanted them to have it so badly that I didn't make them do the steps that I had to do to get there. And then when they realized they actually had to put a little effort in and it wasn't going to be given to them, they failed or quit. And so I am working really hard not to enable. I want to be beside them. I want to encourage them. I want to help them along, but I'm not going to do it for them, because I'm just doing the work over and over and over again. And each time they don't, I feel like, what did I do wrong? Well, the fact of the matter is some people will and some people won't, but it's not ours. It's not our burden to carry. We can only be responsible for our own actions. We can't be responsible for other people's actions. We could just guide them and tell them. So if you have any experience like this, if you felt like this at any point in time, or if you're brand new and you're getting a chance to start, consider this your my piece of advice is be beside them, but don't do it for them. Because that way they get that satisfaction of their own success. They take more pride in it because they've done it. You haven't done it for them. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean tell them, oh, you're all on your own, but make them their first post and then tell them how you did it and say, tomorrow you try to make one. Send it to me first. I'll give you some pointers on it. If you have trouble, I'll get on the phone with you and I'll help you make that first post. Or, you know what I mean? Like, do it for them, do it with them, and then watch them do it. I've heard those things, but I tended to get stuck if they had any pushback, and I stayed in that same cycle. And so I just want to share that with you in case that helps. I hope it does. And when we were talking about the belief, believe in yourself and borrow it from somebody else if you don't have it. You guys, we all have accountability groups right now. Are you utilizing them? Because that is your family right there. That is like-minded people that want the same things you want. That is the place that you should be able to say, critique me, and I'm going to critique you, and what can we do better? And this is where I'm at, and how can we get through it, and how can we get over it? Utilize that and borrow each other's belief and build each other up, because that is the core foundation. And that's what we got to create. We got to create ourselves a foundation that's going to last. And so some of these things that I'm talking about, that's what it's really about. It's about building up your faith, building up your belief, building up your structure and your foundation, your support system, and building the steps that you're going to do consistently every single day. Yours may not look exactly like mine. They may be tweaked a little bit, and that's okay, because we're not the same people. But you build that foundation and you create that consistency. It will make a huge difference. A lot of people's had a rough year. A lot of people have lots of excuses and reasons. I know they're justified. Don't get me wrong. I know that a lot of us have been through tough times and challenges. But I want you to think about somebody in the company just for a sec. Just kind of think of it in your mind that you're inspired by, that you've heard their story and you're like, wow, that person really, that's who I want to be like. That's who inspires me. Odds are, when you heard their story, you heard one of their challenges. Maybe your hero is Melissa. Maybe your hero is Christy, and what inspires you? You see the trials that they've went through, whether it be an injury, or whether it be an illness, or whether it be a death or a divorce or whatever it is. You see somebody go through that and they triumph. The person you're thinking of that inspires you, have you seen that in them? Have you seen them triumph over some sort of adversity? And that's what makes it really stand out. It's not somebody that said, oh yeah, I walked in and I sold 5,000 kits and I hit all these trips and I never had a problem. Why? That person is not the person you're inspiring. That you're looking at them going, yeah, I'm going to go over here at the other lunch table because that's not somebody I'm going to sit with. That doesn't inspire you. The person that inspires you is that person that dug deep, that was real and had a trauma or had a real excuse to quit and never did. So it's time for us to be the one that inspires. And in order to do that, all of these challenges that we're having now, all of these things that have been hard for us in the last year, or you beat yourself up over, we're going to overcome them with that strong foundation and with those consistent steps. And that's how you become the inspiration for the next person. That's how we lead. We lead from the front, from not letting these excuses take over. They're going to happen. Life is going to happen. Things are going to get rough. Things are going to get tough. And they're legit. But you can't control it. All you can control is how you respond. And when you don't give up. So I hope that makes sense. I know it was a little off task. I know that wasn't, necessarily daily steps and a perfect thing, but I just feel like right now that a lot of people need to know that they're not alone. So what I'm basically, to recap, is here's what I want you to do. I want you to recommit today. I want you to make a plan that matches today on. It's not going to be exactly the same plan that you started on October 1st, because you may be ahead of the game. You may be behind the game. Life may have changed. So I want you to recommit. I want you to remake a plan. I want it to be a SMART goal. I want it to be something that you can achieve. I want you to break it down on how you're going to achieve it. I want you to focus on being positive. Wrap yourself up with somebody else that's been down that road and pick them up. Help them, because that helps you. Lean on your accountability group. Be vulnerable and be okay with it, because that's where growth is. And be consistent. Every night when you get done at the end of the night, reevaluate. You're going to fall short some days. Some days you're going to excel. We're going to look at it. We're going to say, this is where we're at. This is where I wanted to be. So this is how I need to adjust my plan for the week. And we're going to move forward. We're not going to wallow in it. We're not going to let it beat us down. You're going to make a plan and you're going to keep going. So it's way early in this game, guys. We have plenty of time. People do this in 2 and 3 months. Okay. So we got plenty of time. I just want to mention starting a new structure. And don't be afraid to relook and remake a new game plan. I don't care if you make one tonight and then come Christmas Day, you go, well, that ain't going to work out. Let me redo it. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're staying consistent, doing the steps and reevaluating and standing strong, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you from hitting any goal you want. Digging yourself out of that place, of wherever you're at, and making all your dreams come true. I mean, been there, up and down, crashed and burned, rolled over a couple of times, had people pick me up. It's okay. But we are going to be on that beach. I didn't think I was going to make it to be on Cancun, and I'm going to be in Cancun in 3 weeks. And I am going to be in Puerto Vallarta. I think I said it right every time I say it wrong. So just bear with the hillbilly in me. I can't never get that name right, but I'm still going to be there. It isn't going to matter. And I want you guys there with me, because it's going to be amazing. So I was also told to give you a homework assignment. So it's going to be a little kind of different, a little bit. And I hope it's okay, because I didn't get any guidelines on homework. So I'm like that substitute teacher that just makes something up. But since we've been talking about accountability and leadership and where we've been and weaknesses and overcoming challenges, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take tonight, and I want you to think about some place that you're struggling, some place that you're weaker, something you'd like to strengthen and improve. And I want you to take that to your accountability group. So everybody in your accountability group, I want you to tell them what you're struggling with. Then your accountability group's job is to come up with a plan of action for you, a step that you're going to implement every single day to the end of the year. And you're going to be accountable to them for that, because we all need to work on our leadership skills, and sometimes tough love and telling somebody, hey, this is what you need to do and improve that. That's going to help in your accountability group, because they're going to have to do that to you. You're going to be working on vulnerability. And then when they're vulnerable with you, you're going to have to step into that leadership and guidance role. And then you're going to be accountable to each other. I want you to keep track of it to the end of the year. And I know this is the craziest time of the year to have something like that. And here's why I want you to do that. Because if you can do that now to the end of the year, you can do that anytime, because the rest of the year will be cake. So take your weakness, what you want to work on, back to your accountability group, and have them give you a plan of action. Just one step that you're going to implement daily to the end of the year. And then when you all get it done, I'd love for you to post it back in the group. Hey, this is what we did. This is how it changed. And so that's all I got for you guys tonight. I hope it wasn't too much. I hope you guys gained some knowledge from there. I hope you got a little nugget of something you can take forward and be successful. And let's all earn this trip.
Girl, that was fantastic. That was so good. And I think it was on point, and it fired me up. I don't know about everybody else, but woo! Let's go. I'm excited. So I do have a question. I know that there are some people on here tonight that are not in accountability groups. So if you have got room in your group for one more person, let me know, and I'll pass that along to the ones who their groups have fallen away already, and they are just kind of like on an island. Tabitha's on here, and she did a great little training about being on an island or being a peninsula. And we want everybody on peninsulas where they're attached to somebody else. We don't want anybody out on an island by themselves. So if you've got room in your group, let me know. And one of the things that you said that I preach is, well, a couple things, I'm always about self-affirmation and believing in yourself and telling yourself, the speaking life over yourself. But the other thing is you can't want something more for someone than they want it for themselves. So love them where they're at. Put your time into the people who are proving to you that they want it. So, you just can't do it. I've tried, believe me. I tried to run people's business, and you can't run more than one business either, because once it gets big, then what do you do with them? You cannot run two businesses. So your job is exactly what Jamie said. You've got to teach them. You've got to empower them. You've got to you can't duplicate yourself, because nobody can be you, but show them the traits in order to make them a leader where they are able to show the other people those things. So great training, Jamie. Everything was on point, and it was really, really good. Stacy, you got anything?
I'm just going to add a little bit to what Melissa said with great training. I mean, Jamie, everything you said is what we need to be focusing on. And everybody that's going for Founders Club, and I know you are because you're on here, you really need to take what Jamie said and apply it. And I love the challenge she gave, because it's not overwhelming. It's not look at 3 to 5 things. It's focus on one thing. Pick one thing that you want to improve on and work on that. And that is just doing that one thing. You'll be amazed how much things will compound from that. You'll get some more momentum going. You'll get some excitement going. Just focus on one thing that you need to improve. And I love that she said, don't be keeping it to yourself, guys. Make sure your accountability team knows, because that's when it gets serious. When you go to someone and you say, hey, this is going to be what I'm going to be working on. I want you to help keep me on track with it. I want you to give me some ideas. I want to collaborate with you. That's when things get real. So don't just make the goal, the one thing that you want to improve on or change or work on, whatever that might be. Make sure you talk to your accountability partners about it. And one last thing is Jamie talked about focus on the things that you can control. And I just had a phone call with one of my team members yesterday, and we talked about this. Especially this time of the year, right before Christmas, you feel like, it's just everything's dead in the water. Well, really, it's not. Okay. It may feel that way, but what people are doing right now is they're thinking, after the holidays, I'm going to start on something. I'm going to do something to lose weight and feel better. What is that something going to be? Well, if you're not following up with people, if you're not putting it in your stories, if you're not posting, if you're not talking about it in your testimonial group, and you're just, you're not doing lives, you're not shouting it from the rooftops, well, guess what? Those same people that's going to do something, they're going to do something somewhere else. They're not going to do it with you. So just because you feel like that things are slow, and you get discouraged and you want to quit working, focus on the things that you can control. What are those? Those are the things I just mentioned. Putting everything out there, following up, doing the things that you can be doing. So when that time hits right after Christmas, then you've got this huge audience of people that are just waiting to get started with you. And they will if you're putting the work in. So great training, Jamie. Appreciate you.
All right. And I usually end our Monday night trainings for our team with the declaration of Ephesians 3:20. And I accidentally did it on here last week, but I had so many people message me and said they love it. So we're going to keep that trend up on here. So I'm going to declare Ephesians 3:20 over all of you. God to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can think or ask. Because we honor him, his blessings are going to chase us down and overtake us. You are in the right place at the right time. And I declare a boldness to rise up in you. God is going to open supernatural doors. People are going to seek us out, and we will rise in the ranks because we give him the honor and glory for it all. Love you guys so much. Have a great night.